welcome to the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast, brought to you by the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association and produced by Gale Force Winds. I'm Allan Dale. With me as always, my good buddy Gerry Carew. How are you, Gerry?
I'm doing well, Alan. This is a check-in with the chair. And first thing I'm going to do, and the only thing I'm going to do in this, is say congratulations, Patrick. I think you're about a month into this role. All the best. I look forward to hearing your update.
A month into the role, Gerry, and drinking from the fire hose because the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association has been doing some great work. Tell us about some of the work you've been doing, Patrick, and what you're focusing on in the future.
Well, first of all, thanks again. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you guys. Yes, so this is a new role as I joined the board about 6 or 7 years ago. I jumped into the executive a while back, and this year is my turn to be the chair. And yes, as you mentioned, I'm a month into the role, but very, very busy and very excited to be the chair. So what have I been doing along with the rest of my board members and Rhonda, the president and COO of the association? Well, first of all, our major efforts when it comes to the board and the NLCA is advocacy. We have a lot of member firms, always hovering at around the, between 630, 650 member firms. I try to communicate, and this medium is also a method to communicate to our membership. So what have I been doing? Well, first of all, we've been very busy trying to set up meetings and have been successful with multiple municipalities, different levels of government, because it's important to make sure that we're front and center to those people. Those are the owners, or those are the infrastructure, owners that will spend the money in their local districts, and explain to them, the importance of procurement models, tendering, challenges with tendering when it comes to our members. That's what we're here for, to express and to help and guide and offer some assistance on how maybe sometimes a system could just be elevated a little bit.
Right on, Patrick. I would imagine with all the moving parts of your association, it's difficult to keep everybody on the same page, everybody talking the same language. You must have a lot of liaison between the different groups. Tell us a little bit about that.
So absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned the word liaison. One of the things that has been resurrected, I think, in the past few months is in fact, we do have a liaison committee. And that consists of a few groups, but essentially it's groups that belong to the construction world, and not just the contractors themselves, but consulting engineers and architects association. So we formed a liaison committee consisting of 4 or 5 groups, so that because whether you're doing a vertical infrastructure like most contractors, but there's also horizontal infrastructure when it comes to heavy civil, and those people and owners are guided by engineers and architects. So when you link all those bodies together, you find out that we face the same challenges, and the power is in the numbers. And so by joining, and hopefully more groups get to join our association as it evolves. But once again, the primary role is advocacy, and advocate to municipalities and provincial governments, the importance of shovel-worthy projects. And because shovel-worthy projects, that's a term that I've learned recently, and it's about the need for infrastructure to help construction products moving in and out of the province and throughout Canada and the rest of the world. I'll take an example. I mean, let's face it. We have a port in Port aux Basques, right? And it's a ferry system, and so there's tractor trailer there all the time. And so, but there's only so much capacity at that ferry. Would you agree?
Yes.
Well, if there's a choice between a tractor trailer containing a food product compared to a building product or some other kind, 9 chances out of 10 is that the food product will win. Because of course, food delivery is obviously very important for the sustenance of all the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. But that means that something else is suffering. So a shovel-worthy project, for example, is maybe increasing capacity, redevelopment of our port system. This is just an example.
It's a good example.
It is, Patrick, for sure. And talk more about how the association is supporting major developments that are happening in Newfoundland, because there's some good stuff happening.
Well, listen, if you haven't been asleep over the past few months, the hot topic lately, has been a push for the development of the Bay du Nord project, and let's face it, the oil reserves, are significant. I don't know the numbers; it's not in my wheelhouse, but in terms of our association, we definitely support the Bay du Nord because there's always going to be infrastructure, whether horizontal or vertical infrastructure, required to make that development, flourish. Right? They're going to need camps. They're going to need resources around the communities that belong. And between St. John's to Port aux Basques or St. Anthony and everything in between, and then into Labrador, there's always a multitude of spinoffs when it comes to these types of major oil discoveries and developments and productions. And so I said earlier, the movement of goods, people sometimes don't think that the movement of goods includes people and money. Mm-hmm. And, when you think about that, well, Bay du Nord will need people. So we need, infrastructure perhaps in our airport system to more planes can land with goods and people. Another great example, shovel-worthy projects.
Shovel-worthy projects. Gerry Carew, your thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to say, it's interesting. Advocacy doesn't mean just advocating for your members. Obviously, the fact that you're bringing up Bay du Nord, it's obvious to me that the Construction Association is advocating for a better economic environment for all of us. And you know what, Patrick? You should be commended for that. So thank you. We are looking forward to checking in with you once a month and seeing how you're making out.
Fantastic. Listen, I always a pleasure talking to you guys, and I'm looking forward to our next segment.
Well, there you have another great edition of the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast, brought to you by the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association, produced by Gale Force Winds. Chairman of the board's telling you they are focusing on shovel-worthy projects, dealing with the municipalities, dealing with the provincial governments, and supporting major developments in Newfoundland. It doesn't get any better than that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're very welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day.